It's 17th of January 2025. Let's look at the headlines making waves in the Nigerian dailies of today. Let's begin with the Punch. The bolder headlines. Dangote Refinery projects 650,000 BPD June. Plans crude import. You can get the complete story at page 19 of the Punch newspaper. At the top left, governors propose new VAT sharing formula, OK tax bills. You can get the complete story at page 2 of the Punch newspaper. DHQ blames foreigners for renewed terror attacks. You can get the complete story at page 14 of the Punch newspaper. 12.3 billion naira fraud. EFCC to arraign Otudeko ex-First Bank Managing Director Monday. You can turn to page 12 of the Punch newspaper to get the complete story. And beside the name, Pegasan projects petrol price hike as crude cost rises. You can get the complete story at page 20 of the Punch newspaper. And under the pictures, Fubara Wike camps clash as police occupy Rivers PDP secretariat. You can turn to page 12 of the Punch newspaper to get the complete story. Ogun guard arrested for alleged defilement of 6-year-old. You can turn to page 5 of the Punch newspaper to get the complete story. INEC deletes 7,746 dead persons from voter register. You can turn to page 7 of the Punch newspaper to get the complete story. Away from that, let's look at the Daily Trust. The bolder headlines. Governors reject VAT hike, propose new sharing formula. You can get the complete story at page 4 of the Daily Trust. Truck kills 6 family members, 8 others in Benue. You can get the complete story at page 1 of the Daily Trust. Abuja Kaduna Kano Road ready in 14 months, FG. You can get the complete story at page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper. 6 terrorists, 5 soldiers die in Sokoto Ogun duel. You can get the complete story at page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Under the pictures, Israel kills 75 Palestinians amidst ceasefire deal. You can get the complete story at page 25 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Beside that, presidency to Sanusi, don't undermine our reforms. You can get the complete story at page 5 of the Daily Trust. Oil and gas, Lokpo Biri assures of sustained collaboration. You can get the complete story at page 20 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Now, let's take a look at The Guardian. The bolder headlines. Caught in the middle, survivors count cost of accidental airstrikes. You can get the complete story at page 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Beside the picture, FGNIMC launched digital cards to assist farmers, others. You can turn to page 7 of the Guardian newspaper to get the complete story. Under that, Boko Haram ambush. UN demands justice for 40 killed in Borno. You can turn to page 30 of the Guardian newspaper to get the complete story. Now, under the picture, tax reforms. Governors, presidency shelf VAT hike. Agree on new revenue sharing formula. You can turn to page 6 of the Guardian to get the complete story. EFCC to arraign ex-bank chiefs over alleged 12.3 billion fraud. You can turn to page 7 of the Guardian newspaper to get the complete story. Under that, rowdy session at National Assembly over budget defense. You can turn to page 3 of the Guardian newspaper to get the complete story. PDP shuns Ondo LG poll as police restrict movement. Warm miscreant. You can turn to page 28 of the Guardian newspaper to get the complete story. And under that, DHQ blames external forces, local collaborators for terrorism surge in the northeast. You can turn to page 6 of the Guardian newspaper to get the complete story. And lastly, police seal PDP secretariat in Rivers over leadership crisis. You can turn to the Guardian newspaper page 29 to get the complete story. Now, let's take a look at the Vanguard. The bolder headlines: tax bills. Governors offer new formula for sharing VAT proceeds. You can turn to page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper to get the complete story. And above the name, influx of ISWAP. Southern governors mobilize, activate regional security. You can turn to page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper to get the complete story. And beside that, FG to Emir Sanusi. We don't need your approval for Tinubu's laudable policies. You can turn to page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper to get the complete story. Under the picture, rowdy session in NASS as IGP presents 2025 budget. You can turn to page 2 of the Vanguard newspaper to get the complete story. Under that, kidnapping. Nigerians may have paid 10 trillion naira ransom in 2024. You can turn to page 10 to get the complete story. To wrap up, this is the Nigerian Tribune, where the borderline says, governors propose new VAT sharing formula. You can turn to page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune to get the complete story. And above the name, Wike withdraws Maitama plot R of O from Rep Speaker, governors and others. You can turn to page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune to get the complete story. Beside that, rowdy session disrupts IGP's 2025 budget defense at NASS. You can turn to page 4 of Nigerian Tribune to get the complete story. Backlash. Abraham Ogbodo, big INEC budget and unending circle of electoral failures. You can turn to the back page of the Nigerian Tribune to get the complete story. Under the pictures, ICP files charges against Jimmy Lawal, former Air Rufai's aide, 3 others. You can turn to page 4 of Nigerian Tribune to get the complete story. Ondo LG election, PDP candidates at loggerheads over withdrawal from Saturday poll. You can turn to page 3 of Nigerian Tribune to get the complete story. And under the name, FG dismisses Emir Sanusi's comments on Tinubu's economic reforms. You can turn to page 8 of Nigerian Tribune newspaper to get the complete story. 6 years after, Kingmakers pick new Eleruwa, forward name to Makinde. You can turn to page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper to get the complete story. Ifon Irolu communal crisis. Adeleke imposes curfew. You can turn to page 25 of the Nigerian Tribune to get the complete story. And that's the headline making waves at the Nigerian dailies of today. If any of these headlines caught your attention, do well to get yourself a copy of the paper.
Get credible and authentic housing news at your fingertips by downloading the Housing TV mobile app. You can also join the African International Housing Show live from across the globe through the Housing TV mobile app. The mobile app features live streaming and trending housing news. You can locate the AIHS venue via the app, network with AIHS seasoned speakers, and live chat with exhibitors. You can also order house or building materials at AIHS via this app. Download the Housing TV mobile app now from the App Store and Google Play Store. And don't forget to click on the notification button. Available for both iOS and Android users. Housing TV is also on Star Times, channel 149 decoder.